Showbiz with Leigh Drew on 97.7 FM.
Well, my next guest of the program grew up on a dairy farm, would you believe, in country Victoria. He was only 17 when he moved to Adelaide to study drama, graduating in 1983. He's been a regular on stage, both here in Melbourne and right around the country. His television credits include Beaconsfield, the Dr. Blake Mysteries, City Homicide, Stingers, Blue Heelers. The list goes on and on and on. Now he's on stage at the Comedy Theatre here in Melbourne, appearing in Fawlty Towers as Manuel. Syd, nice to have you with us. How are you?
Good, Lee. Thank you very much.
What a fantastic show it was last night. There at opening night, and you got this enormous applause at the end, a standing ovation.
Yeah, look, it's just been so well received. We've done it a month in Sydney before we got to Melbourne. And every show we do, you know, it's so well loved, this program. You know, I grew up myself loving it and watching it. And it's just such a joy and a gift to be a part of.
Syd, you must be honoured in a way because, if I'm right, John Cleese chose the actors himself. What was it like going up to John Cleese and auditioning?
It was really an honour and a privilege. He was so nice to us. He said there was a big group of us that they flew up to Sydney for the callback auditions. There were a whole group of Polly and Sybil, Basil and Manuel's, and we did double-up auditions, so they wanted to pair us up and see how we went together. And he came out that morning and gave us all a speech and said, look, don't be nervous, don't worry about making any mistakes. We know you can get it right with 4 weeks rehearsal. It's about making your own and having fun. And so I really did have a lot of fun in the audition.
Well, so that comes across on stage. Last night it was just fantastic. When we walked into the theatre, you've got a beautiful setting, and it's so well done. You've got the bedroom upstairs, you've got the dining room downstairs, then you've got the office and the reception desk and so on. It's so well done. And the working between you and the other actors and the actors and you, it's non-stop, and there's not a moment where the dialogue is broken. It just flows.
We worked very hard. CJ Ranger was our director. She's an English director and has a history in dance. And she really drilled us. She said, look, this is farce. And she said, farce has to be quick.
Yes.
It has to be pacey. You can't let the ball drop for a second. So she really drilled us and worked us up. And then you have the luxury of maybe being able to take the pace off here and there just a little bit to let the audience in at different moments. But if you haven't got that pace going, it's easier to drop it off back a little bit, but it's very hard to pick it up. So she really worked it up very, really put a lot of work into drilling us.
Well, she's done a wonderful job, hasn't she?
Yeah, and then John Cleese arrived 10 days before we opened in Sydney, and he spent 2 or 3 hours in the rehearsal room with us each day, and that was like a comedy masterclass, you know.
Yeah.
He'd make little adjustments here or there, and they were just gold, the little things that he did with the show.
Just fine-tuning it.
Fine-tuning it, indeed. There's an example, Lee, where I put the plate, the omelette down in front of Mr. Hutchison.
Yes.
And he says, no, I did not order that. And I say, is nice. And my initial instinct to do that when I put the plate down in front of him was to lean back, as I said, is nice. And John Cleese said, no, lean right into his face as you do that, because it's much more annoying to have a waiter right in your face.
Yeah, that's what you do. I watched you do that, yes.
And that gets a laugh, whereas what I was doing previously, I didn't ever do that in front of an audience, but I don't think it would have got a laugh. It was just a bit of a nothing, you know, whereas that's a really funny thing. And that's just one little example of what he said. Another one was when I'm serving Mrs. Richards, and she's saying, now I ordered a very quiet room with a bath and a sea view. I specifically ordered a sea view, so please make sure I have it. While I was doing that scene with Deborah Kennedy, who's wonderful in that role, I was nodding and smiling and rubbing my hands together to try and convey that I wasn't actually didn't have a clue what she was saying.
Yes.
And then I say, "Ke," and John said to me, "No, Syd, just do nothing. Do absolutely nothing. Just listen to her." And then when you say K, it will be much funnier. And it feels funnier in your body, you know, you can tell that it is. And so we were pinching ourselves in rehearsal, but there's John Cleese in the rehearsal room with us, giving us this comedy masterclass. We were getting paid to do it and to have fun. It was amazing.
Yeah. Well, you're certainly having fun on stage. You mentioned Deborah Kennedy in there. She's wonderful and so straight. How she doesn't break up in that, I don't know.
I know. I've known of her work for a long time, so it's a real honour to finally get to share a stage with her.
She's just excellent. She really, really is. And of course, it follows a TV series along with a lot of stepping sideways and things as it goes on, and chasing a rat around the stage with a gun, and it's very, very, very funny. I'm just sorry that the couple of hours went so fast. I could have sat there for another hour.
Oh, that's terrific. Yeah, you know, because a lot of us who grew up with Fawlty Towers, you'd sit around as a family laughing, but I think it would be a real joy to be in an audience of about 800 or 900 people and to all be laughing together.
Yeah. Well, that's what it was like last night. What did it sound like from your point of view from the stage? You could hear us all laughing and...
Oh, yes. Look, there's the scene where I come out as Manuel and the famous I Know Nothing scene.
Yes.
In rehearsals, we knew it was funny, but we didn't know that often we say a line and then we just have to hold it for the laughter to die down enough to say another line, and then it breaks up again. And so it's a joy with the world in the way it is at the moment. It's such a great gift to bring so much joy into people's lives.
I think you summed that up very, very well. It's some light relief. You can leave your troubles at the door, come into the theatre, sit there on the seat, enjoy, and everything just goes away.
And, you know, Lee, because it's such an icon, the risk was, you know, and there was a little bit of stuff written on the internet before we started, you know, this is such a perfect piece of television history. Why would they want to mess with it? And so that was the risk. But the fact that we've done it live and we haven't trampled on the memory, but enhanced it, if anything, and honoured it is really terrific.
Well, so it's all of that. It is certainly enhanced, and you have honoured it. And you know, I was talking to John Michael Housen outside before we came into the theatre last night, and he was saying, I hope this is going to work. And after the show, of course it's worked. It's absolutely beautiful. Nothing's been ruined. You haven't taken the thing and crucified it at all. It's true to its beginnings and its origins. It's just sensational. So tell me about yourself. You left Melbourne on the dairy farm up there at the age of 17 to study acting and drama.
Yes, I went over to Flinders University in Adelaide, and with the idea that I would do my 3-year course and then come back to Victoria. But once I graduated, I started getting work straight away, and more work, and I worked a lot in theatre over there. And then before you know it, your whole life is happening over there. And so after graduation, I spent another 13 years as a professional actor in Adelaide, mainly in theatre. And a lot of film is produced in South Australia, and with they would mainly cast the bigger roles with actors from Melbourne or Sydney. And we would be very lucky to get a 50-word part, the local actors. So I wanted to get a bit more of a bite of the film and TV industry, and also I had family in Victoria and I wanted to be closer to them, so I moved back to Melbourne in 1997.
Right.
And then I was able to start working a bit more in film and TV as well as theatre.
You've got your own one-man show coming up next year too, I think, aren't you?
Yes, I did it earlier. At the end of last year, I did 20 shows at the Courthouse Theatre at La Mama. It's a piece called Ryan, about the final 60 minutes of the life of Ronald Ryan.
Did you write this?
No, Barry Dickens wrote it.
Right.
He wrote it specifically for me, and it was a real critical success actually. So I got a Green Room Award nomination for that. I
remember that, yeah.
And people loved it. It's harrowing. It's the antithesis of what I'm doing at the moment. Although it's a black comedy because he has managed to find some humour in that. So it's Ronald Ryan in his prison cell talking to his family. It's a one-man play. He's talking to his family, his daughters, his wife. He's talking to the prison warden that he supposedly shot. That was the reason they hung him.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of conjecture about whether or not he was the one that pulled that trigger.
Well, he was the last man to be hung in Australia, wasn't he? 1967.
He was indeed, 1967, February 1967. Yes, we're going to be doing a country tour of that in June, July next year.
Right, so around Victoria and interstate?
Around Victoria, at this stage just around Victoria.
Right.
So it'll be out of Melbourne and rural Victoria.
Now you're coming down towards the Drum Theatre or the Cardinia Cultural Centre?
Yes, nothing's been locked in yet, but I certainly hope so, yes.
Good. I will look out for that one too. Friends, you're hearing here a very, very talented young comedian. His name is Syd Brisbane, and you've got to go and see the show. It's just wonderful. Faulty Towers, and it's playing at the Comedy Theatre. It's a nice intimate space there too. Do you like acting there, Syd?
Oh, look, it's my first time. It's wonderful. The theatre holds just under 1,000 people.
Yes,
but you wouldn't know that. You know, you really feel in the audience, because I've sat in the auditorium, you feel so close to the stage.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful theatre.
Yeah, it is. We were upstairs in the third row last night looking right over you, and it's a stunning theatre. It's so nice that all these old theatres have been kept in Victoria.
It is, isn't it? Yeah,
yeah, because some years ago they were facing the chop, but the Mariners came in and saved them, and well done. I was talking to David Mariner last night, and they're apparently saving theatres and so on out in Tasmania now. And,
wonderful.
Yeah, to revitalise the theatre scene down there too, David was saying last night. Listen, Syd, it's wonderful to catch up with you, mate. Congratulations. It's a wonderful show. Please pass on my regards to Stephen Hall too, and he's absolutely wonderful in what he does.
Easy.
And playing Faulty there, what's his name?
Basil Faulty.
Basil Faulty, thank you very much.
They're big shoes to fill.
Oh,
He's
yes.
done a wonderful job.
And when he goes and disappears under that desk, you know, we're all waiting for that to happen, and it happened. The legs just go. It's beautiful. It's a wonderful show. Best to you, Syd, and I dare say you and I might catch up when you come around with the one-man show of Brian next year.
That'd be terrific.
I'd love to. Keep in touch, mate, yeah. Okay,
Indeed.
Take care. Thank you very much. Bye-bye to you. What a lovely guy. And Syd Brisbane is Manuel. And if you haven't thought of going to see it, please put it on your calendar. Faulty Towers. You're not going to be disappointed. It's a very, very good production.